Okay, the Intercommunity Justice and Peace Center was started by women religious, Catholic sisters, for the purpose of working together around justice issues. Now, we were started a long time ago, 1985, I think it was. At that point, it was not as prevalent to talk about justice issues, especially not women and especially not religious women. And the idea is that while each of the religious communities were anxious to do work for justice, everybody needed to be educated in order to do a good job. And the idea was if you collaborate, you probably can get a lot more done and do it better than if each group does things by themselves. So it started out with 5 groups of sisters who hired a staff person of 1 full-time and a part-time secretary, I think. And their original concept was we're going to educate people around justice issues so that we can then educate other people around justice issues, and we can take collaborative actions, bringing out people of goodwill who want to make a change in the world. So we started Families That Matter, and it was for families who have people or had people on Ohio's death row. We, I think, are the only one, we were the only group in the United States, which means probably the world, given what the sentiment about the death penalty is in many countries, that brought together people who were against the death penalty from a moral or philosophical standpoint and wanted to get that law changed, and families who came for the purpose of changing the law, but also to gain support for their own case and to gain support for themselves as they go through just horrendous tensions and frustrations. I think it made me identify with other women. I have a narrow background, as just about everybody does, in what it means to be a woman, based on my experiences as a child and my mother and my grandmother and all those kinds of people, and then within a religious community and as being an educator. But when I started doing this work, I met people whose life experiences were vastly different from mine, and valid, completely valid. I think my identity as a woman was more that I could identify with other women. And I could see what we do in families and in society and for each other, and to really appreciate the fact that there's generally more than one right way to do just about everything, and to know that women are figuring that out. Oh yeah, there's a whole lot of women. I'm thinking of a woman who used to be downstairs working the desk, you know, Miss Annabelle and her sister Miss Carrie, who just wonderful ladies, solid, good people, who when drug dealers would come on their street, they would just charge right up to them and say, "Excuse me, but you have no place here. Get off of our corner." And they did. You know, you can't help but admire people like that for the simple things that they do. I think it's best exemplified with what's happening right now. And the fact is, people who are gray-haired are moving on, and people who are younger are taking leadership roles. And I think that's absolutely essential. And I think this organization will be strong as long as they're open to the fact that things change around once in a while. Things have to be done a little bit more differently, and that new people have to be brought into the organization. And it's fine to have a legacy, but you build on legacies, you don't hold on to them. And so that's my hope, that new women, a few men can come along too, it's fine. We opened ourselves up to men a few years ago. But I think that's the important part, that people understand that we have a history, but we also have a future, and they're not the same thing.